Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and it's Friday, which means I'm going to show you how to create a card from one of Stampin' Up's amazing catalogs. Stampin' Up's catalogs are my favorite place to find inspiration, and sometimes I case the case. My definition of case is copy and share everything. So sometimes I case them exactly like they're found in the catalog. Sometimes I change it a little, and sometimes I change it a lot. But before I show you what I'm going to be making today, I wanted to go ahead and remind you that we have just a few days left. I'm trying to see what today's date is. Let's see. Okay, today is the 26th. So we just have 4 days left of Stampin' Up's Sign Up special that's going on this month, November 2021. So through the end of the month, you can get your starter kit with Stampin' Up for only $75 in the US. And for that $75, you get to choose what products you would like in your starter kit up to $125. You will get a past paper pumpkin kit and free shipping. Plus, once you're a demonstrator, you'll get to be able to order from the upcoming catalog a little bit ahead of time, and you'll have access to Facebook groups with amazing demonstrators around the world that you can get inspiration from and bounce ideas off of. There's just so much. I can't even explain to you how awesome Stampin' Up! Is and what all you'll get from signing up. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I did do a Facebook Live on Wednesday that I've uploaded to YouTube, so that I was thinking, so if I was a brand new stamper, what would I want to put in my kit? So I started from basics, like going back decades ago to where I didn't have anything. What would I get? So if you are in that situation, or you're just curious, what would I get? Then I will try to figure out how to link that video at the end of this one, or at least in the description below. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to be making today. I'm going to flip this camera around. So this little card here, it's a slimline, and it is smaller than the standard slimline you might see. And I made it even a little bit tinier. So my slimline measures, I don't remember what my slimline measures. I'm going to cheat a little bit and use my grid ruler here. So it's 4.5 inches by, I think, 2.5 inches. That's right. Once it's folded, it'll be 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and I'll give you all those dimensions better in a minute. So it's too small to send in the mail, but it's a super fun size to tuck in a package, or you can put a gift card in it. Let me see if I can get that to clear up. There it is. And this is on page 24 of our 2021 July to December mini catalog. And let me flip back to page 16, because this is where I got the idea for the envelope matching this card. And if you saw my video on Tuesday, you've already seen me create this envelope. It's the same size as I did for my card Tuesday. That was a really simple card. It is not wanting to focus today. What is up with that? Get my fingers out of the way. There it goes. Okay, so I'm not doing the ribbon. I considered it, but I like just using tear and tape and just sealing it down. But this envelope is bigger than the envelope that I'll be using. That's why I shrunk my card. This envelope, you need a 7x7 piece of designer series paper to make. And the card that goes in it, I believe, is 3.5 inches by 4.25 inches folded up, which is still too small to send in the mail. So I went ahead and shrank it enough to be able to use just a piece of 6x6 designer series paper for that envelope, That way, for each 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper, I can get 4 envelopes, or I can do other projects, or I can use, like my card on Tuesday, I use designer series paper that only comes in 6 by 6 sizes. So I wouldn't have been able to use that for the envelope at all had I been doing the 7 by 7. Okay, so that is the explanation of that. And here is this amazing stamp set that I'm going to be using today. If you haven't seen it before, this is one of my favorite stamp sets. If you follow me on YouTube or my Facebook or my blog or anywhere, then you probably know that this is one of my favorites because I use it all the time. But today, instead of using the trees, we're using the ornaments as you saw on that card. And we're going to be using this stamp right here. So the colors that they've used in the catalog, and I love these colors, they coordinate with the designer series paper beautifully. I've lost my bone folder. Here it is. So I'm using a Blushing Bride Stampin' Up marker that you'll need to get the Settles Stampin' Up markers to be able to have this marker. And then blends, I'm using Misty Moonlight, Mint Macaron, Polished Pink, and Mossy Meadow to color these ornaments in. So I've scored my little piece of cardstock. This is Misty Moonlight. I've cut it 4.5 inches by 5 inches, and then I scored it at 2.5 inches. So that left me with a card front that is 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. I have a scrap of Polished Pink. This is way bigger than I actually need. I'll be cutting that down later. This piece is for the inside. It is 4.25 by 2.25 inches. And this piece is what we're going to be stamping on right now. It is 4.5 inches by 2.25 inches. So I'm going to just grab those ornaments and my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Just going to ink these up. And then I'm going to just fill this page or this cardstock with these beautiful ornaments. And I am going to pick that up and tap it so that I make sure I'm getting a nice dark image. Sometimes it's hard to talk and stamp at the same time, y'all. So I'm just alternating the heights, and oh, would you look at that? I goobered it. But do you know what's great about that? That is where our sentiment is going to go. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to let it be there. And I'll cover it up later. Okay. And now it's just down to coloring. So when you're coloring this, don't worry about having everything perfectly colored to the edges. You want to kind of messily color it, if that makes sense. If you can do that. When I made my practice card, I had a hard time not trying to color it perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and ink up. Do you think I have room here? I'm not sure that I do. Let's try it. I can always flip it over and stamp on the back if I need to. Like I say, I didn't measure this little piece at all. I just grabbed it out of my scraps and it was perfect. So this is 2 inches wide. And I will be cutting the top off in just a minute. So you can use the same colors that they used in the catalog, which is what I'm doing. Or you can do your own thing. Totally up to you. And you can make it, color it messy like I'm doing, or you can color it perfectly. And again, what I mean by messy is I'm just not trying to go right up to the edge. I'm not filling in the color completely. And the reason why I'm using a marker is because we don't have this pink in the blends. So in order to use this pink that matches everything, it's gonna have to be a marker. And it actually turns out really nicely with the rest of the blends. I like the finished product. So I'm coloring all of the like ornaments alike, but you can make them all look different. I love stamping because everybody does the same thing a little differently. You never have two cards that come out exactly the same. Did you see that? I almost messed up again. I think it's going to be okay though. Okay, so I'm using the light polished pink to do inside this ornament here, but the star, I'm going to use the dark polished pink. And I am going to be a little bit more careful with the star because I don't want ink everywhere. And this is a very small thing to be coloring. Okay, so now I'm using the dark Mossy Meadow. And then I think that is actually all, but I am going to grab this light Misty Moonlight again and just go back over the tops of these ornaments and make it a little darker. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm using my liquid glue. But of course, if you like Stampin' Still better, then go for it. I like this one because it gives me just a few seconds to get my cardstock lined up exactly where I want it. I'm not great at laying things down straight. There we go. Okay. So you can use either your paper snips or your paper trimmer to trim this polished pink after you've got your stamp on it. And I'm just trimming it pretty tight. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just going to put 3 along the back of this sentiment piece. And look at that, I'm going to cover that boo-boo right up so you can't see it at all. And actually, I'm going to move this over some. There we go. Okay, now for the inside, I'm going to once again get those ornaments. And I'm going to stamp my inside piece of basic white. Just right here on the side. And I am stamping off on the side just a smidge. And just stamping it off the top. So then I'm going to grab my light Misty Moonlight again. I mean, not Misty Moonlight, Mint Macaron. And I'm coloring these ornaments again, just like I did the ones on the inside. Still messy. Same colors in the same places. It feels a little weird, just the textures of the Stampin' Blends compared to the marker, so different. There we go. And I'm going to add that. I'm going to go ahead and use the dark. Save me from having to go back and color it again. Then I'm going to grab that liquid glue. There we go. And I've already put the envelope together. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this envelope. The inside, of course, is the trees. And this card just sits right in there. And then I've already got a tear and tape on the strip, or a strip of tear and tape here. So when I get ready to hand this to someone, then I'll fill it out, maybe throw a gift card in there, seal it up, and it's ready to go. And I can write on this if I want to, or I can put maybe a sticker on it, or just leave it as it is. But that is it. That's our card for today. And like I said, I will link that other video from earlier in the week in the description below if I can't figure out how to link it in the actual video. That's new to me, and I don't know that my YouTube skills have progressed that far yet. We'll see. But either way, it will be linked so that you can look and see how to make the card. The DSP I use in that video is different, but it's just a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. So any designer series paper will work. Just make sure whenever you're cutting it, and when you're scoring it, make sure that your top is up. So that it folds correctly. You don't want all your stuff to be upside down or sideways. So it's just something to pay attention to anytime you're working with designer series paper that's got a print on it that needs to be facing a certain way. All right. As I said before, there's just a few days left of the Stampin' Up! Joining special. I would love to have you on your team. I'd love to answer any of your questions about Stampin' Up! Or joining. And if there is a card from any of our current catalogs, we have two, the annual and the mini, that you would like to see made on a Facebook, or not on a Facebook Live, on a YouTube video, let me know, and I will do my best to make that card for you, or at least my version of that card. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving yesterday and that you're having a fabulous weekend this weekend. Happy stamping!